Senator Ron Johnson says he'll have his first report on Hunter Biden's ties to the Ukrainian energy company Burisma in a month or two. The head of the Senate Homeland Security Committee says Americans should know why Hunter Biden was paid millions of dollars without any experience in the energy sector. Senator Lindsey Graham today says his Judiciary Committee isn't assisting with Johnson's investigation.
Will you investigate in the Judiciary Committee?
No, I think Ron Johnson's doing that.
Yes, Ron Johnson is doing it. We just don't know what Senator Graham's doing. Joining us now, Congressman Devin Nunes, ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, member of the House Ways and Means Committee, and a great American. Let's start first with Ron Johnson going after Burisma to find out what is actually going on while the rest of the Senate seems to be paralyzed. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, welcome to the swamp.
Well, thank you.
You're not here very often. It's great to
Thanks
see you
for
in
sharing
person.
with it.
Look, this should have happened during the impeachment hoax. Remember when Republicans said, look, we've had an investigation into Ukraine's meddling, why Ukraine was targeting President Trump. Through all that now, it's pretty obvious because of all the news stories that have come out that clearly whatever happened with that big contract that Hunter Biden got should have been answered during the impeachment hoax and would have had Republicans been able to call witnesses. And so, now that the Senate Republicans have control, Ron Johnson's been a good ally. He's very familiar with the FISA abuse and the Russia hoax and the impeachment hoax. And look, if this was a Republican, okay, son of a Republican or a sibling or any relation to a Republican senator or congressman, it would be front page of every major newspaper in the country on every news show. It would be probably equal to the free airtime that Biden's got since Saturday, which is a lot, which is a whole lot.
A considerable amount. The FISA court, very quickly, do you support the president in seeking reform to that?
Yeah, I think we need to. It's important for people to know about FISA that the FISA court was put in because of abuse. So we have to keep the FISA system. But Title I of FISA that's been in law since the late 70s needs to be changed. We can't allow our intelligence agencies and this court to be weaponized against a political party. And so the president is exactly right. We've had many members with the Republicans. I think we're all on the same page that we have to change Title I of FISA to make sure these abuses don't happen.
And it's clear. It's clear that we've got to reform the uppermost levels of the FBI, politically corrupt without question, and the Justice Department.
The Democrats are going to try to sweep this under. See,
of course,
there's a section of FISA that's up for renewal right now. And I think that they're going to try to sweep this under the rug. They're just hoping, because look, FISA does do a lot of good things. It keeps us safe, but at the same time, it can't be used to target us.
Yeah, it's odd that it would be called the Foreign Intelligence Act, because it's the intelligence and counterintelligence has been conducted against Americans, including a sitting president. It's stunning stuff. You and the Washington Post, in an extraordinary battle, a lawsuit against them, seeking to right wrongs by the Washington Post, in which you say flatly, they're lying.
It's been very frustrating, Lou, and that's why I've created this website, defendusa.com, that I like for people to go to join my fight, because no one has been put into the middle of this Russian nonsense more than me, other than maybe the president, okay? Obviously the president. But every time they resurrect the Russia hoax, they insert me into it. And so before the coronavirus new narrative hit and took over all the media's time, we were on Russia hoax 9.0, whatever the hell it was. And, they claim that I was talking to the president, going to the White House, trying to get the head of the Director of National Intelligence fired. None of that happened. None of it happened. I came out and said it's demonstrably false. That, just the day, that night or shortly thereafter. And then they don't do anything about it. They don't take the story down. And then, when I said I'm going to file in court, which is what I've been telling a lot of these news media outlets. So I file in federal court, and I'll bet you this, it's been just like the other lawsuits that I have against CNN and others. The same thing happens every time. They never want to show up in court.
Why not, I wonder?
Because they don't have any evidence. It's impossible for me to have went to the White House or talked to the president since I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? So there was hundreds and hundreds of witnesses saw me there. I have a cell phone. They could take me to court. They could subpoena my phone records, right? There's call logs, okay? I didn't talk to the president of the United States.
And you,
On the days that they say that I talked to the president of the United States.
and you have offered that to the Washington Post. You've said to them what the facts are. You have declared that their story is wrong, and they say, how do they?
Well,
speak
we don't
to
know
you
what
personally?
we don't know what they're going to say because we sued them in federal court. So now they have time to go to the court. But my guess is they're going to be like everybody else. They're not going to want to come to the table. And the court is the only fair place that I have to get what was called, no pun intended, a fair day in court.
Right.
But I can't fight them by trying to argue with them or just come on your show and say, hey, it didn't happen. That doesn't work. Those stories live forever, right? So if you Google my name or you go on the internet, how many fake news stories are out there that are tying me to Vladimir Putin?
Right.
And it's outrageous. When for a long time I was known as one of the top Russian hawks in the Congress. Okay, and I've been the guy that was predicting that the Russians were up to no good. Right. And now for almost 4 years now, every chance these lunatics get, and I say lunatics because the lunatics in the media get, they tie me and Trump to Russia.
And it's driven, you believe, purely by ideological cant. It is.
Look, I think there's a lot of reasons, but clearly they're acting with malice, right? And reckless disregard for the truth, because they're mad because everything that I've said, whether from FISA abuse to that the Russia thing was a hoax, the Ukraine thing was a hoax, everything I said has been proven 100% accurate.
Right. And you also did something unforgivable in the eyes of the Washington Post, it seems. You defended the president of the United States.
That's another thing probably. Yeah, they don't like that either. So I just want to pitch again, if people want to get involved, defendusa.com.
Defendusa.com. We've got it, and I'm sure that our audience does as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lou.
Congressman Devin Nunes, who has done amazing work for this country and for this president. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.